I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki, and I'm with Dr. Ufoma Apoki. We're going to be discussing, it's 10:59 p.m. We're going to be discussing living in both worlds. I have a lot of clients that have bought properties from me from the diaspora, the United States, Canada, Greece, Spain, Germany, and the UK, and several other countries, even Brazil. And also have people who consult me concerning investment options in Nigeria. I see a lot of them, they want to retire to Nigeria after a certain age and after a certain number of years that they have worked. But I have this philosophy that those who colonized us, the British, for example, the French, for example, in French speaking countries, they have not left Africa. They still have investments in Africa. And even though the Americans left the Philippines, they still have investments in the Philippines. And so we cannot totally leave um, Europe, America, or wherever we have been domiciled. We have contributed to the economies of those nations. And so we can still stay there and maximize the opportunities there, our exposure, our education. At the same time, our children are born in those countries and they are citizens of those countries. They need to benefit from the labors you contributed to those nations. While there are opportunities in your nation, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, wherever, South Africa, you can still invest in the economies of your African countries, even in the Caribbeans, that most likely yield higher returns on investments. You operate on two currencies. You will operate in euros, operate in dollars over there, and then generate your local currencies here. Use your local currencies to buy and invest in different areas within your local economy while you maintain an economy. And for people like me, I have I want to invest in the European economy while in Nigeria so that I can live in both worlds. So don't just think of until you retire. Those of you who are listening to me now that you are young, start to invest in both economies. The Asians that I have seen in the UK in particular, they are buying properties, doing businesses. They have taxis. Some have up to 8 taxis. They have properties in the UK. They have shops in the UK. And they also invest at home. Their children have cultural ties with where they come from. So let's not live with this kind of refugee mentality of just wanting to come back home only when we retire. You might be too old to really harness the opportunities inherent in Africa. I don't know if you have a question.
Yeah. The first question I have is most people, due to the instability of um, most of these economies, mostly in Africa, Nigeria specifically, um, most people are worried about when they invest here. Let's say they take uh, 10,000 euros and invest here in Nigeria, do a business. By the time you get the returns, um, if the currency drops drastically, you might not be able to get uh, the equivalent of what you invested there. So, what's your proposition? What's your proposal for handling these differences in, do you separate, okay, you invest here, you keep the money there, you invest in places like Nigeria, and you keep reinvesting in Nigeria?
That's why I said you live in both worlds.
Okay.
The world of dollar, euros, pound sterling, let it be there. When you bring money from Europe to Africa to invest, invest like as Warren Buffett will say, money you will use to buy groceries. By the time you save up to £1,000, maybe you are saving ten pounds for 100 days, is £1,000. And you can easily spend £10 for frivolous things, for meals you eat outside. I bought a bottle of water at the O2 Arena for £5. I bought somebody bought T-shirts for me at M&S in Manchester. A T-shirt was about £35 to about £40, and that's a lot of money. So if you practice delayed gratification and you do target savings, if you bring some of those monies here and invest in Nigeria, you will liquefy the money, the value will be high. Or in Ghana, invest in Ghana. You could have squandered that money, but it's the sacrifice you have done to free yourself from slavery, so to say, buy yourself from slavery. When you invest here, let the economy here be different from the economy in the diaspora. You don't compare potatoes and yams. You understand? So if you invest here, you buy a property. I had to call the person who sold property to us where I went to with you, and I said that the property is now um, um, 18 million naira. When I discussed with him, he said is around 30 to 36 million naira for that property. 36 million naira can achieve a lot in Nigeria. If you put it in a cooperative, you are entitled to 108 million naira. If you open a gas plant, you start selling drinks, distribution drink, or distribution of drinks, or you open a gas, a water factory, or you open a hotel, you will find out that you are generating revenue in local currency. When you come from Europe to Africa, you are not stranded. You are not stranded. And in Europe, you have invested and you have reached a point where you no longer need to do the 9 to 5 job to feed in Europe. So if you do the conversion rate, if you leave Africa to Europe, if you convert, you will not eat, you will not drink water. I wanted to board the tourist bus in Paris, and they said I wanted to use the restroom. They said I should just go Eiffel Tower, just go turn left. And I turned, I said I want to use the restroom. They said no, I must buy something. And I bought canned Coke for, is it 10 euros or 5 euros? So I wanted to use the restroom at the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and I was told to go to a restaurant somewhere there. And they said they said I can't use the restroom free. I needed to buy something, so I bought a can of Coke. I think it was 5 euros. 5 euros is a lot of money in Nigeria, but it's nothing in compared to the Parisian. So you separate the economies, try as much as possible to invest in the European economy or have a way of generating revenue. But I know people who are resident in Europe that it is their Nigerian businesses that is taking care of them, their expenditure there. So when you use the exchange rate, you will not want to invest in Nigeria. Now you separate both economies. Even in the turbulence, there's going to be hope. There is hope. My wife told me, was complaining about the increase in prices. I told her that don't complain about the increase in prices. Just produce more commodities, more services, and increase the prices. And you will be afloat. You will make more money. So then find a way to make more dollars instead of complaining about exchange rate. It's usually the people who have a mono-service, mono-product economy that complain. The more you produce in Nigeria, since you came, have I complained to you?
No,
Have you suffered since you came?
no.
So
But the thing is, even with the differences in exchange rate, no matter how there's inflation, as long as you are a producer, I think you won't be affected, because if the prices of fuel goes up, you just have to increase the price of your
now,
commodity, whatever you are
now
producing.
when you want to produce in such a way that you don't depend on imports, on foreign exchange to produce. The businesses I do in Nigeria here are not dependent upon foreign exchange. I'm into real estate. You understand? So I don't need foreign exchange. And in fact, the depressed economy helped me because more people were willing to sell properties at um, distressed sales than when the economy was good. So the hospitals Nigerians are going to in India, they are hospitals of people who were in the diaspora, acquired skills, and went back to India, to Bangalore, to Delhi, and wherever, and established those excellent services based on the repatriations that they brought home. So, if you look at the instability, you will never invest.
Okay. The other question I have is, besides the issue of instability, is the issue of trust. Trust is a major factor. The first thing, because of the nature of our people, also because of the disorderliness of our people. Like, you sell real estate and a lot of people buy from you even without meeting you. That's because they trust you. But if it's not you, most people wouldn't buy from just a random person. So how does most people want to actually do things, and most people have had bad experiences even with people, family members
Even
and stuff,
parents,
parents and stuff. So how does one go about this, especially when you are for instance, we talked about how I quit my job earlier this morning, but most people might not have the luxury. They want to invest, but they might not have the luxury of leaving a job or leaving an occupation. So they still have a lot of um, engagements and responsibilities in the diaspora, but they still want to invest. But that issue of course comes in, and it's very difficult sometimes and discourages people.
upfront, that you can never ever do away with responsibilities in the diaspora. The diaspora is the economies in the diaspora are created to make you always pay into the system as you get from it. So the earlier you reduce the cost of responsibilities and increase your savings, your target savings, and the multiplicity of avenues to get revenue, the better. Number uh, you can invest in areas where you have institutional investment, like the you can invest in bonds, and you have returns periodically, and you can grow that. You don't need a human being to trust in that case. It is you are loaning to the federal government, and the returns over a period of time can be quite substantial. So that's one. Then another form of institutional investment, if you want to buy properties, buy from reputable organizations that have estates. When you buy from reputable organizations that you know they are trustworthy, you have their track record, you will find out that you can sell, or you are guaranteed of your properties. And then make sure you don't invest in volatile areas. There are some areas in Nigeria that are very volatile in terms of security. There are others where they have xenophobia or ethnophobia, where they are aggressive towards non-indigenous. Then um, documentation is key. Documentation is key. I was discussing with Lechi in Trafford shopping mall in Manchester, and he said that you can do business with the devil with when you have documentation. Now, there are businesses you can do that are digitalized. I give you an example. If you have a gas refilling plant, a small gas refilling plant in an urban area or a suburban area that is growing, they use solar energy to power it, because where they will cheat you is more of buying diesel, repair of generator. When you use solar energy, it is fixed. Your maintenance cost is very minimal. Then put CCTV cameras around. Number two, the weight of gas that will be supplied to you in the cylinder is known, and you know how much you sell per kilogram. So you know how much you are expecting from a load of gas. Based on the fact that you have CCTV cameras there, where you are monitoring the trucks that come and load and the transactions going on, you can get your daily returns about how much they sell and how much is left. So if you do digitalize the economy, you are definitely going to be able to monitor your transactions much more easily. If you have a hotel and you have maybe an Airbnb with CCTV camera, you will know when it is occupied, you will know when it is not occupied, you will know the cost of maintenance, you will know how much you are supposed to earn. There are digitalized economies that you can get yourself involved in, and you won't have as much distrust as you're having. But it is very disheartening that parents, siblings, friends cannot be trusted in Nigeria to take care of the resources that people in the diaspora work so hard to bring repatriate home. I was discussing with somebody called me, he's a medical doctor in the US. His brother bought 20 acres from me um, about 4 or 5 years back. And I had to call him one time. Your brother bought land from me. He has not collected his papers. Recently, they went to see the land. The land is there, and he's not. He has not come to collect his papers. He will come and collect his papers. As Dr. Mimi is returning to Germany, I've given him documents for somebody who bought land from me, and I've told him to send his younger brother to go and look at the land. And I want to encourage Nigerians: if you have integrity and you maintain a good reputation, you will do so well in life and you will prosper, because a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora are looking for people to trust.
Another thing I want to ask, I think Nigeria, like many countries with large population, one 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 resource they have in abundance is human resource,
Mm.
and because of the disparity in economies, most times is we have surplus labor. Let me put it that way. So I see it as something that can be used if used rightly. So how do you think people can take advantage of this um, this abundance of human resource, especially with COVID? There was a lot of remote work and stuff, and it's still going on. Like for me, I
You
did a
you
lot
do
of
you do a lot of
yeah,
remote
I
work.
did remote work. So, how do you think people can invest in that? And is it something that can, because it's very difficult to manage people even here while they are here, while
Are
they
you
are
talking of
overseas.
harnessing remote work?
Yeah, harnessing human resources through remote work
Okay, remote work might.
as something. I was thinking if you have something like a pool of um let's say resources you can outsource, or that is also an investment that people can get into.
Yes, we are doing a lot of videos, and you are finding it difficult to cope with the rate at which I'm producing these videos. And we have people who are working here. We have resolved that one of the workers in the school, we are going to take him away from teaching because of his computer knowledge. You are going to teach him how to produce videos from my intellectual material. Um, you, we have very many intelligent people in this country, very brilliant people. So we can harness their intellect and their resources to produce intellectual wealth. The wealth of today is going away from physical wealth to intellectual wealth. I don't know what I saw, but AI is celebrating AI architecture. You understand?
Yeah,
There are 3D printing of buildings today.
yeah.
Um, you can do animation for people's books. You can publish books in Nigeria here while you are living overseas. I know somebody who is running a polytechnic in Nigeria. He lives overseas. All his lecture halls are visible in his phone. Um,
You can have lectures online, like you can have a school virtually online.
line. Most courses, like several courses, are going to be online. So, and there are Nigerians who are here. They are giving lectures on further maths and physics and quantum physics online for people in the diaspora. Somebody just ordered for your books from the UK for her children. Excuse me. So AI and the digital economy is one thing we can harness, and it's a big sphere that we have not even, for me and you, we have not even scratched.
Okay, I think that's all I have for now.
So I've been doing an interview with Dr. Apoki. He has a PhD in computer science. He's my third child, my second son. And then there are a lot of things we can do living in both worlds. Don't, don't have the principle of either or. I'll work in the US. When I'm 60, I'll come to Nigeria. 60 is not an easy age. I'm 66. It's like buying a vintage car. You wake up, one new problem will be there. So start living in both worlds very early. We have properties for sale. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. And I appeal to our Nigerian parents, our Nigerian friends, relatives. When people send money from the diaspora, please value the money, manage them well, let it be profitable for them. God bless you.